Question this morning is from MP Dunkley to the Minister of Health, Minister Wilson. MP Dunkley, you have 3 questions and they all require an oral response. Would you like to put your first question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, will the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House whether the government online travel authorization form powered by ResQuest.com was sole source or publicly tendered?
Thank you. Minister?
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government online travel authorization form powered by ResQuest was sole sourced.
Thank you. Supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary?
Can the Honorable Minister please provide the rationale and the reasoning why it was sole sourced?
Minister?
The government online travel authorization form procurement was sole sourced following an assessment of options available to Bermuda on short notice in June 2020. ResQuest has done a stellar job in producing and maintaining the government's travel authorization portal with its related functionality for public health monitoring. It is a complex system that was set up at record speed to enable Bermuda to open its borders on the 1st of July. Following the COVID-19 shelter in place, as the island was reopening and progressed following through to phase 4, it was announced on the 11th of June 2020 that regularly scheduled commercial flights would resume at the LF Wade International Airport from the 1st of July 2020. On the 23rd of June 2020, Cabinet finalized and approved the travel entry policy. This gave the Ministry of Health 7 days to source and produce an online travel authorization portal. In preparation, the ministry performed a rapid search of the market for solutions available that might be able to satisfy the Ministry of Health's travel authorization portal requirements between the 19th and the 22nd of June 2020. Due to the newness of COVID-19, there were only a few solutions identified that could have satisfied the TA portal requirements, and there were insufficient time available to undertake a request for proposal for the TA portal. Reopening Bermuda's borders was vital for economic recovery and to allow flights to resume so residents who had been stranded overseas for months could return home and stranded departing visitors could leave. The following vendor options were considered: AMBER, which is a TA system implemented in Jamaica; Apricity, which is a US-based contract tracing app which has no Bermuda clients; Health IQ, which is a symptoms monitoring app; Hub Culture, which is a contact bubbles and symptoms monitoring platform and the parent company for the Aqua electronic bracelets; ResQuest, which was the COVID test booking and lab results portal; and SafePath, which was a prospective contact tracing app being considered for Bermuda. After reviewing the potential solutions, it became evident that most applications were not designed to do all the things the Bermuda TA system required. All vendors were assessed and demos were secured for some applications, which found that the customizations of these apps could not be accomplished in the short time window available. On review of these options, it was decided that the most efficient and quickest way to implement the TA portal was to use the same vendor, ResQuest, who had previously worked with public health authorities and had created the scheduling, testing, and lab portal to successfully support the government's COVID-19 testing. Due to the fact that integration was required between the TA portal and the lab portal, ResQuest was best in the position to quickly deliver a travel authorization form which automatically booked travelers into the COVID-19 testing and reporting regime, along with COVID-19 public health monitoring from OPAL quarantine. In addition, Mr. Speaker, ResQuest had already had an embedded payment portal in its booking system, which was required to gather the TA fees. In addition, ResQuest is a Bermudian company, which made it favorable in addition to its technical advantages. ResQuest was rapidly engaged with the agreements, and the development of the TA portal cost under $100,000, and there would be ongoing administration fee each time a traveler completes a TA to enter Bermuda, and the Ministry of Health teams and ResQuest worked at high speeds to execute the travel authorization portal. In light of the urgency and the volume of work involved, the ministry was not able to apply for the required sole source approval from the Office of Project Management and Procurement prior to the engagement. The ministry readily recognized that this was an irregular way of proceeding, but in the urgency of opening the borders was forced to act on the authority of the Ministry of Health, Chief Strategy Officer, and Acting Permanent Secretary, who all supported the urgent need for this action and the decision to proceed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A great answer to a supplementary question. Now, second supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead.
At the time of looking for this business application, did any principal of ResQuest.com have any association, contract, or consultancy with the government of Bermuda? And if so, who?
Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I do believe one of the principals of ResQuest is a consultant to the government of Bermuda with respect to the FinTech project.
Mr. Speaker, the final part of that question was if so, whom?
Mr. Speaker's name is Mr. Dennis Pitcher.
Thank you, Minister. Second question, unless there are any supplementaries.
No. Yeah, you use your supplementaries. Any other of your members have supplementaries? None, we can go on to the second question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Honorable Minister. Will the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House what are the contract arrangements between the Government of Bermuda and ResQuest.com, including the services provided, the length of the contract, and the total compensation received to date by ResQuest.com for providing the services to government?
Mr. Speaker, the contract arrangements are as follows. ResQuest provides development services, which includes the customization of the system to suit the needs of the Bermuda travel authorization process. Additionally, they provide maintenance and operations support, which include the use and maintenance of the software, hosting and maintaining servers, updates and patches to servers and database, monitoring of all software and servers, database performance of a 24/7 redundancy, backup power supply and data file backup, daily review of the traffic and system performance, and ongoing modifications. The period of the contract is 23rd of June 2020 to the 31st of March 2021, with an extension clause for up to 1 year on a month-to-month basis. The agreed terms of payment for the contract are $150 per hour for development and training and $10,000 on one-time licensing fee. The period of 1st of June 2020 to July to the 31st of October 2020, a charge of $5 per traveler. For the period of 1st of November 2020 to the 31st of March 2021 is a minimum $30,000 monthly fee equivalent to 6,000 travelers at $5 per TA, after which a sliding scale comes to effect, which is for 6,001 to 10,000 travelers, the fee is $3 per TA, and then for 10,001 plus travelers, the fee for the TA is $2 each. All banking charges incurred due to the temporary collection of the fees are reimbursable to ResQuest. If the extension clause is enacted after the 31st of March 2021, the same fee structure that I just spoke about, Mr. Speaker, will continue, and the total payments to ResQuest in process to date are $193,622.50.
Thank you, Minister. Do you have a supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, but just before that, thank the Honorable Minister for the question, but the Minister says the total payment today was about $193K. She said to date. What is the date she refers to? Is it actually today?
It's with respect to the question that was asked, which was up until the 31st of October, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll supplement your question. To the Honorable Minister, what review was done of this arrangement to decide that it provided fair value?
Minister?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we had a team at the ministry as well as persons from the IDT,
Yes.
IDT,
Yes.
to assist with respect to facilitating this arrangement.
Was any concern expressed, to supplement you, Mr. Speaker, was any concern expressed by any of the advisors about the cost of the contract?
It was negotiation back and forth between the parties, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There's your two supplementaries. Does any other member have a supplementary? No further supplementary. We'll move on to your third question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Honorable Minister, can the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House what is the total amount of fees collected from individuals requesting authorization up to the 31st of October 2020 since the inception of the travel authorization form?
Mr. Speaker, the total amount of fees collected from individuals requesting travel authorizations up to the 31st of October 2020 since the inception of the form is $1,741,980.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary.
Yes.
I assume this money's gone into the consolidated funds. Has any of that money been used for other purposes to date?
Minister?
As the contract was just finalized, it's the process of being transferred, those funds to the consolidated fund.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I missed the first part of that answer. Did the minister?
She indicated that the funds are in the process of being transferred to the consolidated fund.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, if that's the case, where would the funds be now if the process hasn't been completed?
The ResQuest account, ResQuest have been holding.
Was that your second supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that's
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, the ResQuest have been holding the funds, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. ResQuest been holding the funds. Thank you.
Okay. Now, that's your second supplementary. Does any other member have a supplementary? None? That brings us to a close of the written questions today, and we'll now move on to questions from the statements that were written this morning.